Now we will discuss about the internal structure of the human heart. So I already told you that heart is slightly triangular in shape. Here we will not draw all the three layers. I am showing just one layer. Look at how I am drawing the diagram. So this is what something I have drawn our heart looks like if you view it in detail. And as you can see, these are the two auricles and lower compartments. You all know these. Here we will draw ventricles. Now if we talk about the inner walls of auricles, it is slightly wavy. It is slightly wavy, and here we will draw a wall. And the walls of ventricles are much more wavier than the walls of auricles. There are peaks and somewhere there are low peaks. And then we will draw this interventricular septum. Here we will again draw a wall. Then we will draw interauricular wall. Slightly wavy. This is the left auricle. Here again we will draw a wavy wall. And the left ventricle is somewhat smaller than the right ventricle. And like this we will draw the structure of the heart. Now here you can also notice the difference in the thickness of all the four auricles. The wall of auricles is thinner. The wall of the right ventricle is somewhat thicker, and the thickest wall is having by the left ventricle. Why is it so? Because you know that these atria have to do the work of only receiving the blood from all the body parts. This right atrium receives the blood from the body parts, and left atrium receives the blood from the lungs. Ventricles have to do the work of pumping the blood to various organs. This left ventricle, this pumps the blood to the lungs. So this is a somewhat shorter distance. It only has to pump blood to the lungs. But this left ventricle has to pump blood to the different body parts. All the body parts. So its wall is highly muscular. Highly thick wall, you can see here. Now let us label this. This labeling I will do very far away, so that because this diagram is having much number of labelings. So what is this? This is right atrium. This is left atrium, and I am using the abbreviation so that I get the maximum space. Look at here, you can write it like this, right atrium. Now this is right ventricle, and this is the left ventricle. This wall that you see is known as, this is a wall, and this wall is known as the left auriculoventricular septum. And if you closely look at this structure, you are going to see three flap-like structure like this. One is like here, one is there, and one is there. That's why it is also known as tricuspid wall. There are three cusps. This is called cusp. So it is known as tricuspid wall. Here I forgotten to draw the wall-like structure. And this is known as the right auriculoventricular wall. And if you look at its shape, it is bicuspid. There are only two flap-like structures in this. So it is a bicuspid wall. Now this left atrium is going to receive blood from the body parts. So there are two arteries, or we can say veins, which are bringing blood. This vein is bringing blood from the upper body parts like the brain, your lungs, your neck region, and this is known as the superior vena cava. Now there is a blood vessel which brings blood from the lower body parts like your legs, and this is known as inferior vena cava. Now there is also a blood vessel that collects the deoxygenated blood from the walls of the heart. This wall of the heart is also using oxygen and consuming oxygen. So there should be one vein that should collect deoxygenated blood from this muscles of the heart, and that is known as the coronary artery, and it brings the blood here. Its opening is here. So this is